Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of rawradianthealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and it is a pleasure to see you today. So it's my favorite day of the month, everyone. It's October 1st. You know how much I love the beginning of a month. And even better this month is that we've officially started our juice feast. We started day number 1 of a 10-day juice feast. I'm super excited. It is wonderful. And just to let anyone know out there that is part of this group, and for some reason they haven't been receiving my emails, it's because my emails are going into your junk mailbox. I've had this happen to 2 people already. That they're like waiting around being like, Tasha, where are you? What's going on? And I've been like sending out emails for weeks and everything is going into their junk email box. So if you're one of those people that's like started the fast today and you're like, where is everyone? What's going on? Contact me, email me, and check your junk email box because all the information is there. So what I want to talk about today is I got an email this morning. And I thought it was a good question. It was asking me about calories in smoothies. And this person wanted to know, like, how would you calculate the amount of calories in smoothies? And a lot of you out there do count calories, which is fine. I have nothing against it. I think it's actually, I wouldn't be obsessive about it. And if you find have that personality that gets a little bit too strict with things, then you might not want to go that direction, because I know some people get really consumed with it. But I think for the general public, it's really a good thing to do is not so much to be counting the calories, but to be aware of how many calories are in what you're eating. And because once you basically kind of know like how many calories are in your fruit, how many are in your vegetables, how many are in your nuts and seeds, and if you eat cooked foods, like how many calories are in your cooked grains and your meats and in everything. Like the more educated you are, the more information you've got, the better off you are, the more prepared you are, and the more you can kind of like sift through the junk, especially because a lot of times things are labeled on products and stuff being like low fat or low sugar or light, or like, and a lot of these dieters pre-made meals say that they're all like diet safe or fat-free and all of that, but they're loaded with calories. A lot of times if things are low in fat, they're usually very, very high in sugar. And the reverse is true. If something is low in sugar, it might be very high in fat. And high fat and high sugar equal high amount of calories. But the great thing is when you're on raw foods is everything in general is very low calorie, except for nuts. Nuts in general are pretty high in calories. I mean, you get just a very small little handful of nuts and that can be a few hundred calories right there. Okay, so watch it with the nuts. Like if you were to have almonds, have like less than 10 almonds, and that could be equivalent to like 100 calories. So you don't want to go too overboard with the nuts. Now, back to the question. Back to the question about the smoothie. Now, this person wanted to know how to calculate how many calories are in their smoothie. My suggestion is if you want to calculate how many calories are in your smoothie, then calculate how many calories are in each ingredient you put in your smoothie. I can give you a rough estimate. If you were to make a fruit smoothie and just fruit and greens, like a green smoothie or a fruit smoothie, and no added juice, just the fresh fruit or the greens, and water maybe to blend it up, or nothing at all, I would say each cup would be approximately 100 calories. If you were to be adding juice, it might go up a bit. It might actually be a little bit less than 100 calories. It depends which fruit you're using. But on average, a cup of fruit is usually anywhere between, I would say, 60 and 100 calories. one banana is sometimes maybe about 120 calories. It's a little bit higher, but still, I mean, it's on average, everything is about, I would say like a cup is equivalent to 100 calories. Things that are low glycemic like berries and stuff, that could be much less. It could be like way less. It could be down to like 40 calories. So, and these are average, okay? Like I'm not giving you specific numbers today. Now, I'm also going to give you a few tips on how to get the calories down in your meals, because I know a lot of you want to lose some weight, and a way of doing it is to ensure that you're not eating too many calories, that you're not getting that energy stored as fat, because the last thing you want is your food being stored on your butt. So how do you keep the calories down? My suggestion is, first of all, cut out the sugar, get onto fruit, okay? Because fruit is water rich. So the more fruit you have, the more hydrated you are, the less you're actually going to eat, because a lot of times we're eating because we're dehydrated. And another thing that you can do is, whenever you're making something from scratch, and in the recipe book, it lists like let's say you're making a salad dressing, and the recipe calls for like half a cup of oil. Try and bring it down to a third a cup of oil, or even a fourth a cup of oil. Usually most recipes that, if I ever use a recipe, I always cut the fats in half, and sometimes even more, and it tastes fine. So, you know, you just gradually cut some of it down, and if it tastes kind of funny, then you add a little bit in. But really, like, 'cause the thing is with a lot of recipes is that's what makes it taste good. It's usually fat or sugar. But the thing is, you can actually cut some of that out. So I just find most cookbooks and uncooking books just ask for like way too many ingredients with high calories and high fat and all that. And the same thing goes with the nuts. Like if you do a recipe that calls for a cup of nuts, try and do 3/4 a cup of nuts and see how that goes as well. And also dried fruit, cut that down, because the dried fruit, the dried nuts, things like that, oils, they all are high in calorie, and they've no water in them, and a lot of times it's something like oil, it's just pure fat. And that also goes with like this person that's asking me about the smoothies. If you want to make like a lower calorie smoothie, my suggestion is do not put any like nuts or oils or any of that into your smoothie. Some people do, but if you want it low calorie, avoid that, and go more towards using berries and stuff, because those are lower glycemic and they are lower in calories. And usually out of all the fruits that are the lowest in calories are the berries. And that includes like strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, things like that. And then apples, like green apples are great, and pears are great. Those are also low glycemic compared to, as you move up the ladder, it gets even more and more filled with sugar and higher in calories. So those fruits you might want to stay with. That also is a low calorie option. And one more thing that you can do to lower the calories in your cooked food is, let's say you're making like any kind of grains, like a rice or a quinoa or things like that, like any kind of cooked stuff, or even if you're cooking pasta or something like that. My suggestion is add in a bunch of vegetables. Sort of cut the grains or the pasta and that stuff, cut that in half and add in like steamed broccoli, steamed cauliflower, maybe a few stir-fried vegetables, because the vegetables have barely any calories and they're full of fiber and nutrition. And if you cut the grains and the cooked stuff that can be quite high in calorie, cut that in half and add in these wonderful vegetables, then you're gonna have like a huge amount to eat, but the calories will be cut like in half, or at least a fourth to a third down. So those are a few tips for the day. I'm wishing you guys a fabulous October, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!